Hello, this is Shri again with my good friend, Dr. Dan Kessler. Dan, say hello.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, so we're here after the amazing French Open. The last 2 weeks has been incredible, and we just wrapped up the men's singles final with Djokovic winning over Casper Ruud. And we'll also touch upon the women's Iga Swiatek won her fourth major against Mukova. So let's now talk a little bit about what happened today. Djokovic now will be number one after winning his 23rd major. He's actually won both majors that have happened so far, which Wimbledon and U.S. Open left. What do you think, Dan? Your initial assessment of the match. I know you always watch this on tape delay, and I was pretty good about not spoiling the game for you. So maybe if you want to talk a little bit about um, your thoughts, and then I will come back, and then you know provide my own observations because I did get to watch the entire match.
Yeah, I appreciate the spoiler, Sri. I was able to come home after a nice day on the golf course and sit down and relax and watch the match in its entirety. Yeah, it was a very enjoyable match. I know it was straight sets, but that first set was one for the ages. It was over an hour and I think about an hour and 15 minutes in duration. Djokovic was tested early on, down a break. He would start off down 2-0, down a break for the majority of the set in the set, and then went ahead and prevailed in the tiebreaker. Joker's record. I was listening to the telecast, the broadcast. Is just remarkable in this overall in tiebreakers and in this tournament. Just a tribute to his mental toughness, which tiebreakers come down to really just who's mentally the toughest. And as I think Mary Carrillo said, he just goes into complete lockdown mode, as she described it in the tiebreaker, and he's just a complete backboard, and the balls just come back deeper and harder and just more numerous in those tiebreakers. And he won relatively easy in the tiebreaker. I think kind of broke Rude's spirit a little bit. Got an early break in the second set, kind of cruised to the second set, and then I thought Casper played a really tough, good third set once again. And Joker had to earn everything. Rude did not lay down. It was, like I said, a few games where maybe he made a few extra errors, but boy, there were some just amazing rallies. Joker so tough on both the forehand and backhand side. Just amazing, his fitness and the way his footwork and his agility out there. And then he, like I said, prevailed in straight sets, but it was definitely an entertaining three sets, well over a 3 hour match. So that was kind of my impression. Fantastic match, even though the box score will show three sets, straight sets.
Yeah, I mean, this is a much better performing by Casper Ruud. He was in the final last year to Nadal, and if I remember right, I think the first set took only 18 minutes. So he had an initial 4-1 lead. He was actually up 3-0, and that's when Djokovic kind of changed his approach to the game. I saw most of his serves very wide, and typically in the French Open, you probably see about 20 to 30 rallies. But once Djokovic changed his strategy, serve deep to Kaspar's forehand, and then finish off with a beautiful winner down the line. So that's one of the minor adjustments that Djokovic made in the first set. And once he got to 4-all, um, it was just a back and forth until the tiebreaker. And to your point, he's mentally tough. And I mean, if we go two matches back against Karen Khachanov, he did beat him 7-0 in the tiebreaker. It's almost like you have to play at almost like at your highest potential to even beat Djokovic in the tiebreaker, which is almost like an impossible thing. And the
Yeah.
second set kind of ran away from Casper Ruud, and to your point, he did play very well in the third set. It was 5-all, and then Djokovic just had to get that extra gear up
Yeah.
once he saw the opening, and then once he was serving for the match, there was nothing stopping him from winning his 23rd uh, championship. I mean, obviously there was a huge, you know, stars who are available to watch. All the football stars. When I say football, I mean soccer stars, Mbappe and Gerard. I mean the guys who were in the World Cup, and then a role. Tom Brady was there as well. Kind of sitting in his box. So Djokovic, again, to me, he has now established himself. He's now um, one Grand Slam over. He just broke the tie with Nadal. He's 23, and as I mentioned, he gets world number one again, and he's probably going to be the favorite at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open at this point. Um, and we talked about offline a little bit about even in the semifinal about how he beat Alcaraz. I mean, Alcaraz is 20 years old and Djokovic is 36. The I'm very impressed with his fitness regimen, his diet, and his overall mental toughness. I mean, that's what separates him from all the young players that we have out there, like whether it's Rude or Rune or Alcaraz,
Yeah.
and even those like Zverev and Tsitsipas. That's where it is. So I mean, to me, I mean, you know me, I'm a big Federer fan, but and I was texting a few of my friends, and I would say the same thing. To me, he's now established himself to be mentioned in the greatest of all time status.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his record says it all alone. Obviously, he's 23, which is a nice correlation with Michael Jordan's number, who's the greatest of all time for basketball. And you could many of all time, Jordan, Ali, you could make arguments about all these different athletes, but so 23 is just a nice metaphor. And then yeah, he's just incredible. Like I said, I'm just so amazed at the level he's playing at the age of 36. Like you said, the discipline I think that he has in his life too, away from tennis, his fitness routine, his regimen. And what was interesting in his speech afterwards, the way he really thanked his family for being his support and his backbone, that he's really tough to live with off the court. He said, because he's probably so,
True.
regimented, so rigid. I can only imagine what his daily life is, his diet. I've read he's been gluten free. Someone told me since 2011. He's very he's just an amazing physical regimen he must live by and subscribe to in order to maintain his level of fitness. But hey, to him is just incredible. I've never seen a player I don't think quite like him at the age of 36 with his level of technical skill and fitness.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nadal was it was very a class act by Nadal to tweet right after Djokovic captured the 23rd Grand Slam. And one of the things he mentioned, I don't know if you caught it, I think it was a post game. He did mention something about Mamba mentality. So definitely channeling a lot of the Kobe Bryant
Right.
philosophy there. Um, and again, Nadal will be back. I mean, maybe I think his ETA is 5 months. I don't know he'll be ready for the Wimbledon, but I can definitely see Nadal in the U.S. Open. How great would it be? It would be a Nadal and Djokovic final. Let's see if it'll come to fruition in the U.S. Open. All right, I think to me, Djokovic has established, like I said, as a GOAT, and people are still trying to catch up with him, and they've been trying to catch up with him. And we've lived in an era with Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, and it was indeed a pleasure watch him. It's almost like very clinical how he approaches things. It's almost like every point he has a plan for it, and that's what's just incredible about this. Um, so there it is, right? Djokovic capturing his second major of the year, 23rd. Now he's only one short of, I think he's equal Serena Williams, I think, but he's one short of Margaret Court, who is 24. And if it was not for the, couple of U.S. Open, I would say one where he hit a ball boy, and then one where he was not allowed to play due to COVID, and then one in Australia, he would be at 26. I definitely think so. But I think, but again, he's still got at 36, he's still playing like
Yeah.
he's playing like the 20s. So I think there's more to come.
Oh yeah, I could see him getting another 3 or 4 easily at the way he's playing right now. If he stays, knock on wood, injury free, which there's no indication that he won't. Just yeah, I could see him easily. He's just no one can compare to him out there right now. So yeah, I mean he's probably the favorite at Wimbledon by far. Alcaraz, I think has got all the skill, but I don't know if Alcaraz is just fine tuned for grass just yet. He probably needs a few more years of experience to learn how to play on the grass and get used to the grass. But like yeah, I'm looking forward to the U.S. Open more than anything, with maybe no Joker and Alcaraz. And I think I did read, unfortunately, that Nadal, after his surgery, he's out the rest of this year actually, so he's
Oh,
not going to be.
okay.
He's out until probably the French Open next year, is unfortunately what I've read. So I don't think we're going to see him at the U.S. Open, but there's plenty of other great players out there, that always, and the U.S. Open is just an event unlike any other. We'll talk about that later on, but
Mhm.
as we get closer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So I mean that's it. Nole wins 23. I'm going to quickly pivot to the women's final, because one of the things I did want to call out was Iga Swiatek from Poland wins her third French Open, fourth overall. She's only 22. I happened to watch the match and most of it. She was incredible. I mean, Mukova, who beat Sabalenka. I thought, Iga was going to just run away with it. Iga first set, she was up 3-0, and I thought she would make quick work of Mukova. But kudos to Mukova for fighting back, winning the second set, and she actually had a chance in the third set. She actually went up a break, but Iga is just too good. I mean, Iga just was not only able to equal in the third set, but she just rattled off pretty easy games, and then deservedly so. She's now a three-time French Open champion. And I know you and I were talking a little bit offline about where does it put her among the greats. I mean, obviously, no one is Serena is so far away, along with Steffi Graf. Um, at least in the modern era. Iga's got four very quickly, and she's only 22. And this is my prediction. She's on course, to get, I would say, even double-digit majors. I mean, that's just me, but it's still a long way to go. A lot of, and it also depends on the competition and everything like that. But at this point of time, she's definitely trending in that direction. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched as much of the ladies' tennis the last few years, but I've watched a few of the Iga's matches, and I've been, just floored by how impressive she's been in those matches as well. Just very powerful, much more power than I thought I was, would see from her. And she's, just French Open. She's owned, like you said, three titles at the French and one U.S. Open title, and four in by the age of 22. That is remarkable. I'm not sure if you said that's the youngest to reach, if she's the youngest to reach four titles, or
I don't know that. I don't know that.
yeah.
We'll have to have our statisticians look it up.
We'll do that. um, but yeah, I mean, like you said, yeah, four by 22. The only thing, like we talked about offline also before, is lately on the ladies tour, there's been, it seems like, several women who emerge and will get, two or three titles, and they're kind of talked about as the next great. And then what do you know, lo and behold, a year or two later, they're like either retiring or they're number 50. So it seems like there's just a endless like a cycle, spinning wheel of who the new hot women's player is. But maybe this will be the next great, that gets 10 or 15 titles. Remains to be seen, but right now it looks promising.
Yeah, I mean, I did read an article that when she came in 2020 to the French Open, I mean, she was not in a very good mental state, but then in 2 weeks later she won the tournament, and then that kind of changed her attitude towards winning Grand Slams. And let's see, how far. Definitely would like to see her, get more majors. I think it makes it much more interesting when you either have a dominating player or you have a rivalry. I know Sabalenka is probably the closest to her as a rival, but
Right.
right now, just looking at the horizon for both the men's and women's, Djokovic clearly has separated himself, and then Iga has separated herself as probably the best player. So with that, right? I mean, we come to a wrap with the French Open. Um, uh, Tennis. And I know, Dan, we're going to be coming up with the preview of the U.S. Open golf. We just now pivot to golf, and I don't know if you're watching it. Since we are now slowly turning into golf, I just watched Nick Taylor sink in a 75-foot um, putt to win the RBC Canadian Open. So I'm really excited about the next week U.S. Open. Just ends on Father's Day. You can't top that. So looking forward to that, and we'll probably come back and do the preview then.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for joining us tonight.